Welcome to Open Talk once again. It is another Wednesday night when we gather together and just sit together and chat and have a good time and get information and get to know and whatever. Because we are part of the team that believes that knowledge brings transformation. So as we sit and talk about whatever we are talking, it is with an aim of bringing some knowledge to you, some information to you, and also educating one another and hearing testimonies. Therefore, I want to welcome you tonight to this open talk and pray that you will have a good time as we participate. Our number is right on the screen. Should you have a question or want to talk to us, please send us a text message and we will get back to you at our earliest convenience. Thank you so very much. Now, this morning, or today, no, not this morning, but tonight. Tonight, our guest is a friend and a son for a long time, and somebody that many of you know is a pastor. I hope by now you know that a teacher has many teachers as friends, and a doctor has many doctors as friends, and a lawyer has many lawyers as friends, and a pastor has many pastors as friends. Therefore, he's one of our pastors and one of our bishops, and I want to ask Bishop Dr. Kennedy Mbatia, pastoring Deliverance Church in Thika for a good number of years, to say jambo.
Good evening. Nice to be together with you here, Bishop, and together with you viewers, wherever you are. I'm so glad that I have this great invitation. I am blessed to be here.
Thank you so very much. You don't need me to introduce myself, but I'm a Bishop Mark Kariuki, just in case you forgot who I am. Bishop Mark Kariuki, you are pastor and your friend for a long time. I was counting my ears the other day and I realized that I have been on KBC television for 25 years. 25 good years, every Sunday morning from 9 o'clock. And it is always a joy when I meet with the people and they tell me, you know, I started watching you since I was a little boy or a little girl. And I look at the person who is telling me somebody muscular. So I ask myself, Kwani, how old I am? Then I just discovered when I got married, 20 years of my life were cut off. So I am 20 years younger than I was before I met Joyce. So, but that's not the issue tonight. Tonight the issue is we have our guest. Thank you so very much, Dr. Mbatia.
Thank you.
Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Reverend, Bishop, Doctor? What title do you prefer? I know titles don't mean much to you, just as they don't mean much to me. But you know, you also give respect where respect is due.
One day I met with another older man than me.
Yeah.
And he told me he went somewhere. And he said to somebody, "How are you, brother?" And then the person said, "Don't call me brother, call me bishop." Then he wondered whether bishops are sisters. so whether we are all those titles, because generally we are servants of God, but in the process of time, we thank God for what he does in our lives. So any name or any title is functional.
It will be functional.
Yes.
You see, something that we need to understand is that all of us are equal in calling.
Yes.
We are all called.
Amen.
By God,
yes,
washed by the same blood. But at the same time, God has given us different responsibilities.
Yes, yes.
And it's good to acknowledge the responsibility that God has given you, because if you don't acknowledge it, you will not fulfill it.
Yes.
When I resigned as a teacher, I was afraid of being called a pastor.
Yes.
In fact, I printed posters. I printed posters to do a crusade in Nakuru, and there were 7 great days. I could not put my name on that poster. I could not call myself pastor.
Yes.
Oh, I felt no. But of course, later on, I came to realize there was no other pastor. I was the only pastor there. So I became Pastor Mark. And everybody in Nakuru calls me Pastor Mark. Everybody calls me, even today. When I meet with some of those people who are from Nakuru many years ago, they will always refer me to Pastor Mark, and it doesn't offend me at all, at all. Then when I took over the leadership of Deliverance Church, that's when I was called bishop. So I was consecrated, not was called. I was consecrated bishop. And I said, oh, okay, what does this mean? Then I started understanding the role and the responsibility that was put upon me, and I accepted. I accepted the title bishop, because it also demonstrates the responsibility that God has given me to shepherd the flock. Or to shepherd the shepherds, and that and that when I accepted that, then I was open to the wisdom of God, because if you are closed, you will not receive the wisdom of God. I am sure Joseph was open to be called prime minister when he turned a prime minister. If he was closed, the wisdom of a prime minister would never have been manifested in him. But that is just by the way. So we will call you, we will refer you to, I will refer to you to any one of those titles. After all, I'm the one who poured the oil.
And it was much.
After all, I'm the one who consecrated you. But before we go to the consecration, could you maybe introduce yourself? Introduce yourself to the viewers. Let them hear you loud and clear, so they can know, they have an idea who is talking.
I am Kennedy Mbatia, and a young man born in Maji Mazuri Forest.
Maji Mazuri.
Maji Mazuri Forest.
I know Maji Mazuri.
It is true. It's right in the forest, and especially in those days. Quite a number of things have changed where we are today. But we grew in the forest reserves, where my father used to work in the forest stations as a forest guard. And I grew up with two mothers. So my father was a polygamy, and we were 20 in the family.
Oh.
We are 20 of us in the family. And for a long time we were that number, until with time things change. But as I grew up among the 20, I am right back.
Towards the
end, almost towards the end. Actually, I normally make it fun, especially we who come from Central Province. And the way our brothers and our sisters would want to call their children. Some of my, even if they numbered about 11, 12, my name will not appear anywhere. I made a joke when I got my last born boy. And it was not a joke. I said, oh, nobody will ever call me my name. So I just told my wife, this boy is called my name. So it's called Robert Junior Mwangi, because back at home I'm called Robert. But I grew up most of the time using the name Robert. And that's maybe we shall get. Along the way, life is not all that easy. But I remember there was a time I changed from Robert to Kennedy. And now Kennedy became the official just about 1975, 76. Is when Kennedy became the official name. But Robert is what everybody at home calls me, by that name. So I grew in that setup of that number in that place called Maji Mazuri. And went to Maji Mazuri Primary School, Maji Mazuri Forest Primary School. Forest. Yeah. That's where I grew. And when we look back and understand the way we grew up, we can only say that God has been very faithful.
You know, just hold it there, because I'm just thinking of something. What made you change from Robert to Kennedy? Why I'm asking this is because when I grew up, I had a different name. In my primary school, I had a different name all the way to class 7, I think. I had a different name. And then even when I went to Form 1, and my name changed in Form 3, but I had so many names. But I grew up as Henry. So my relatives would call me Henry. But at a certain time came, and I became Mark. And now I am Mark. Henry is unknown. It's only my sisters
Yes.
or my very, very early nieces and nephews who will call me Henry.
Yes.
And I hear it's very odd in my ears when they call me Henry.
Yeah. About the 1960s or so, there were this American family, the Kennedy's family.
Yeah.
I had my aunt who used to use both names, Robert Kennedy.
Oh.
So for a long time I was Robert Kennedy. And those were the days when you get baptized also.
Yeah.
You choose one name. So I had chosen Robert. So I was baptized Robert Mwangi Mbatia. Now, when I schooled very well from nursery, the primary level, and I was doing very well. So when I came to study 7,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to quite a number of us, but we found quite a number of big people in Start 7 because I never repeated anywhere. So I don't know whether they made me feel like a child, and I never thought about so much about education. So when I did my CP that time, I never scored the marks that I wanted to go to a good school.
Oh.
I still remember I scored 26 points out of 36. Those were the days.
Yeah.
And I just decided to repeat. Now repeating would almost necessitate that you change from that first name to the other. So actually I would say that in Saturday 7 I have 2 certificates.
Oh.
One with Robert Mwangi and now the other later one with Kennedy Mwangi. And when I repeated, it was so good.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the way I
okay.
changed.
Wow, that's quite something.
Yes.
But now you are a Kennedy.
Now I'm Kennedy.
Now the Robert has been forgotten.
The Robert has
Now
been forgotten
yes.
until I meet those buddies from long time ago.
That's when they would call you Mwangi.
Yes.
Now you are done with the primary school.
Yes.
You have gone to high school.
Yes.
Did you go to Joro Boys? Did you go to?
I went to Joro Boys.
Yeah, you know, Joro Boys was the high school at that time.
It was a school when you are there, you know, things are...
Yeah, you know, if you go to Joro Boys,
Yes.
you are good.
Yes. So I did Start 7, 1975, 76, I joined Joro Boys in Form 1. And I went through Joro Boys up to Form 4, did Form 4. And then those were the days of the A-levels. Went for Form 5 and Form 6. It's a very interesting moment because I was called to Kubo Boys in Meru.
Oh.
Yes, but I didn't finish there. I just landed there and I just found life was not as good as Joro Boys.
Yeah.
So I tried my best to go back to Joro Boys. And my father just learned later that I'm actually back to Njoro without telling him.
Oh.
And there's an interesting part of that because I just wrote him a letter. Those were the days of the letter, and I told him that I'm Joro Boys.
That plain paper, which was the paper and the envelope.
Yes, and everything.
Yeah.
So I wrote that to him. He read, and I had negotiated my way with the school authorities, which is still very memorable, because going to another school needed that you pay school fees.
Yeah.
The whole school fees. But somehow from Kubo Boys, I negotiated with the principal, because I had stayed there for about 2 months. So I told him he owes me the school fees for 1 month and everything for 1 month. They tried to say, no. I said, you owe me. And somehow by God's grace, I was given school fees for 1 month.
Okay.
So I went to Joro Boys with the school fees for 1 month. I landed there. I was told that I'm going to pay the whole school fees. And as I started negotiating, they knew me. So they would always tell me, and every time I go to the principal, I'm called, I've not finished my school fees. They would tell me, Mbatia, go to class. And I went for 2 years.
Oh.
And with a different uniform. I was to buy new uniforms. But for 2 years, I had a uniform of a different school than Joro Boys, the one that I'd come with from Kubo. And I was not asked to pay the other balance. So my father just brought me 50, because they agreed later. He just brought me 50 shillings. That's what I needed to top over.
Wow.
Now in Joro Boys. And so I did there from 5 and 6. Before then I joined the University of Nairobi.
Okay. Okay. Now you have gone to finished with Joro Boys. You've got Nairobi University.
Yes.
When did you get born again, if you did?
I bless the Lord. When I was a young boy,
Yeah.
in 1970,
Yeah.
there was this Wimbo Niupendao from Kijabi.
Yes. With Timothy Kamau.
Yes, it
Yes.
used to come at about 3 in the evening on
Yes.
Sundays. And then there was this song that used to say, Mutalia lia lia,
Nakusaga meno, watalia lia lia, nakuomboleza, mtalia lia lia, nakusaga meno, na samewa.
Yo.
Okay.
So I had that song. Tutalia na kusaga meno. And I normally say I never got saved because I loved the Lord. I got saved because I feared. It has nothing to do with the love of God.
You cry, you feared yelling and sagaring meno.
Yes. Whenever I thought about that, and the Lord will not hear us. About 1970 in primary school, there was a teacher who had just come. He was called Edward Kerogo. So he organized us to be like in a Christian union. There was a kind of a Christian union in primary school. So in one of those days, I just lifted my hands and I got saved. And we were attending AIC church.
Oh.
So and for a long time. So even in baptism, it was in AIC church.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. You know, that's very encouraging because you see, as I was a teacher myself,
Yes.
and I taught in Mombasa, in Bamburi Primary School.
Yes.
And I started preaching to the kids. And every day,
Yes.
the Christians would go to one classroom and the Muslims would go to a different classroom.
Yeah.
And I would go and preach 5 minutes to the kids,
Yes.
and then they pray for them and ask, how many of you want to get saved? All of them would lift up their hands and I would pray for them to get saved. Almost every day. You know, it's a joy to know you got saved in primary school, to give me confidence that that seed which I planted
Yes.
in those kids did not die.
It's never wasted. Actually, when I go out and I see children lifting up their hands for salvation, I never think that the mission or the outing was not successful. And I love seeing young people
Yeah.
lifting up their hands because I know there is a seed that they will never forget.
Yeah.
And many times I hear people say, when I was young,
Yeah.
I did ABCD. I may not have known, like me. I never loved the Lord. I just feared.
Never even knew him.
Never even knew him. But I had this. So when we were told that that's the only way, I lifted my hands. But of course, God has been good.
Wow. So by the time you are going to high school, you're already born again?
By the time I'm going to high school, I'm born again. And with all the challenges of growing up,
Yeah.
we are not exempted from them. But you still remember. Then the joy is that I had two people, that teacher and an older brother who just got saved.
Oh, you are real brother?
My little brother. And we were very good friends. He's older, but he got saved about that same time. So when he got saved, now we were able to walk together. And because he was senior, in most of my challenges, whenever I would be challenged with maybe even character kind of thing, I would still remember him. And I wanted to follow his footsteps.
Okay.
Yes, so every moment I would remember that amidst all the challenges that can come to a young person.
Okay.
Having gotten saved at that age. Yeah.
You know, I think it's good even for our viewers to know, because there could be a viewer there
Yes.
who doesn't know the Lord, does not love the Lord, but they can hear that song, Mutalialia,
Yes.
nakusaga meno, and just get saved. What this tells me is that you cannot put God in a pipe.
No.
You cannot get a formula
Yes.
that this is the formula that God uses.
No.
God deals with every one of us as individuals and in very unique ways. I want us to take a short break.
Yes.
I want us to take a short break. Yes. Then we can pick from there, and then we can see how was life in the Christian Union, and then from Joro Boys, what did you do? What happened?
Yes.
Until we get to where you now starting Deliverance Church in Thika and all this.
Yes.
Now you are a bishop. We want to see that journey and see what challenges did you face.
Yes.
Maybe you'll tell us if there were any challenges you faced in Joro Boys, being a boys' school, and then going to the campus and the challenges in the campus, so that we can help the students in the campus. But we will do that when we come back after the break. Let's take a short break, and we will get back. Thank you. Every Thursday, 8:15 is our communion night. This communion is international. It's for everybody. Everybody is so excited. We are so excited about Thursday night when the church gangs up and is united together. People from different denominations, people from different backgrounds, we partake of the communion together. Because instead of you going out there for the communion, the communion comes to you where you are. So please remember that. Right, welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed your break. Thank you so very much. Our guest tonight is Reverend Dr. Kenneth Mbatia, Pastor Deliverance Church International in Thika, and the bishop, multi-purpose bishop in Deliverance Church. And he's been sharing with us his story. Today, we want just to hear his story. And we learned that he was brought up as Robert, but now he is Kenneth, and those things happen. I was just thinking when we were during the break. I was thinking about Jacob growing up as Jacob, and then he becomes Israel. And he's completely different from Jacob, and he is Israel, because God is the one who changes our names. And I believe in the changing of the name, there was the purposes of God being fulfilled. Amen. Okay, now you have gone to Joro Boys. And and the campus. Let's maybe look at the campus. What you are born again in primary school, in high school. You have succeeded in high school. You have gone to Nairobi University, and there are challenges there. For the first time, there is no principal. There is no prefect to follow you. There is nobody to make sure whether you are going to class or not. It is you and yourself, and you are born again. Now you love the Lord. When you got born again, you didn't love Him, but now you love Him. What are some of the challenges that you faced, or that you can remember to encourage some of our students who are in campus?
Thank you, Bishop. Very interesting to land in Nairobi. From forest.
Maji
Mazuri forest. And that is more so my first time to be in the city. And you land there alone. You are not taken by your father. Or so. So I'm there. I find my way to the Nairobi University. Did all my registration. We are in the hostel in the city with new people. So you have a roommate who is different in terms of you have never met with them.
You didn't choose a roommate.
You don't choose the roommate. So you're just put with somebody there. And then that's the time, of course, a classmate. Mine was my own classmates. So we were together in the class. And when I landed there, find the Christian Union, and it was good. At that time, the university students were not as many as it were today.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you landed in your room, and you found a roommate, was he also from the forest, or he was from the city?
I think he looked a little bit more
city.
More city kind of, and more so he was not also saved.
Okay.
So here is a little bit timid boy from the forest. And then we have somebody who looks as if he knew quite a a little bit more than what I knew. And he was not saved. And so we start being good friends.
Yeah.
With time, we went on together with him. And thank God, in the process of time when we went to our second year, he got saved.
Oh, okay.
I was very excited.
So timidity had already left, and now
Yes.
the evangelist was coming up.
Yes, and he would find me praying, and he was more in the other faith, the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
So he would find me praying, and himself, he knows how to pray with a book.
Yeah.
And me, I'm praying without a book.
Yeah.
So I accepted that there was a time for me to pray, and when he wanted us to pray with the book before we sleep, I also accepted.
Yeah.
So we walked together with him and telling him about the salvation. In my class, I was the only one saved.
Oh.
We had a big class when we started veterinary medicine, because I joined the University of Nairobi to do veterinary medicine. We had a very big class. And veterinary medicine is also a very challenging course.
Yeah.
And as I speak, maybe this could be something to the students.
Yeah.
Because as I schooled from primary, high school, I did not find it as challenging as when I landed at the university. At the university, I really faced a lot of challenges in terms, number one, of education. Passing exams was not easy for me. I was always number one from bottom. Now, maybe not really number one.
In college or in high school?
No, in the university. When the exams came, there was the people who will be either will have to repeat completely the year, and there are those that will be expelled, depending on the number of subjects that you have failed. And then there are those who will repeat. And then there are those who will have to repeat the supplementaries.
Wow.
So I was in the third category.
Okay.
Of those who had to recite papers. And I don't know what happened when I landed there. And I found that in my first year, I had to recite some papers.
Yeah.
And it was very challenging, first of all, being a Christian.
Yeah.
And here you are. I normally say it became very, very hard. That was, the first year was in main campus.
Yeah.
And then we would go to Chiromo, that's where our classes were. Then we translated from the main campus to Kabete campus.
Yeah.
That is where the agriculture and veterinary related subjects are. So I went there, and when I landed there, I did not go to the Christian Union. I did not go to the Christian Union. But the Christian Union in Kabete would know the Christians who are coming to the new group of people, and especially the veterinary medicine who are coming from main campus. So they're expecting to receive.
So there was a link between the Christian Union in Kabete and in the main campus.
And the main campus. And those now we had also classmates from high school who knew us.
Okay.
So I had classmates who knew me in Kabete. So they were there expecting that when Mbatia lands here, he will be in the Christian Union.
Okay.
I did not go to the Christian Union. And those are some of the challenges that you get. Because now I had some friends around me.
Yeah.
As much as I was their preacher, but I think there's a time they tended to win me. for a short while. And I found for quite some time, then the Christian Union members had to do a good work. And they did it, together with what I said of my older brother. He didn't know, but I used to know that I have to follow him.
Yeah.
Not that he told me, but that was my conviction, that I have a good example in my brother. And this Christian Union did everything to put away all the other friends that I had. Until one evening, I do remember I found myself in the Christian Union. They would do everything possible. They would tell me, Mbatia, can you come for a cup of coffee in the evening? And I would make sure that I count them as liars.
Yeah.
So at exactly 9, what time? 9 o'clock. So I'd go and knock their door. When I knock their door and just a little bit, and I find they're not there, I'll run away through another route, back to my room. So they will come and say, Mbatia, I'm waiting for you. They know you Christians are liars. Now you even just start telling the Christians are liars. You told me at 9 o'clock and I was there at the door. I'm not coming. And they tried everything possible. But one day the Lord was speaking to me. So it was a Sunday evening fellowship. So I landed there and I found myself in the Christian Union. When I just entered, I remember one sister came and said, Mbatia, can we give you a chance to give your testimony? And I was very annoyed. I said, no. And I was very stern to her. I said, no. After a short time, another brother came. Mbatia, I think he had not seen the other one coming. We would like to give you a chance to give your testimony. And I said, no. But when everything was quiet, I just felt, I felt that I am standing, and I just moved in front there. And I was not interviewed by anybody. And I just said, Kennedy Mbatia. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my Lord and my Savior. I had made a resolution to do away with other friends. And I'm saved. I want to, and I read some scriptures. And I sang a song. So when I sang, and that scripture, they followed me. I remember one brother who was in charge of the Bible studies. So he followed me and asked him, hey, Mbatia, you shared so well. Soon after that, why don't you become a Bible study leader? And I had no reason as to refuse. And another sister later came, said, can you join the choir? And I was joining everything. So I joined the choir, I joined the Bible study leader, the follow-up group in terms of evangelism, and everything I was asked in the Christian Union, I did. But the challenges of, again, academics was still there. And I failed some papers in first year. I failed some papers in second year now, but now I'm in the Christian Union. And I failed papers. That time, veterinary medicine was 4 years. And the other degrees were 3 years, apart from human medicine that was 5 years. So first year, I had supplementaries. Second year, I had supplementary. Third year, I had supplementaries. And the fourth year, I had supplementaries. One of the things that I rejoice is that every time I did those supplementaries, I passed. And I had this song that I used to sing all through. I got confidence. God gonna see me through. No matter what the case may be, I know He gonna see me through. And that is the kind of the campus life that I lived. It was challenging in terms of education, of academics. But when it came to the Christian Union, I was very much excited. And all these brothers around, and we grew to be good friends with quite a number of them. So the most challenging thing was just the academics. But I thank God because I finished my 4 years. And I would remember I would sit in class. Sometimes you have done an exam, you have gotten a 0. I remember one time I got a 0. And my classmate who are now gotten saved. Brother Mbatia, you got a 0, how? Actually, I just written my number. And the paper is plain. I had written nothing. It was actually a 0. And some of the other subjects in the course of time, we used to get what I used to call humbling marks. Our pass mark was 50%. But I'm the guy who got 17%. You know those numbers that you cannot divide with anything. Humbling marks. And it was all that and you could not take to the lecturer to mark anything. Because when you have gotten 17, I don't know how much you can add to get to 50. So even my final year, I still got a supplementary. And that time I was espousing this wonderful lady.
And was she also doing the...
She was doing food science and technology. And she was a very sharp lady. Here you have a fiancé. And you are failing. And herself, she's getting
She's excelling. And you're supposed to be the exceller.
And I'm supposed to be the exceller. And this time, I'm going to get my last results. She's next to me. And she's telling me to open the results. And I'm afraid to. She said, just open. And I had to look the results through the sunlight. Only to see pass, and I can see again some fails there. And I was so dejected that day. I still remember, but he never abandoned me. I still married her later.
Your results did not bother her?
They did not bother her. And one of the things is, they will keep on telling even my classmates. By the time now we are coming to our final year, thank God my roommate had gotten saved, and another young man. And soon by the time we are getting, they got that there's a salvation through that witness. The way we related with them. Up to today, I would really say that when they get saved, they will always call me.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's quite something. I hope that becomes an encouragement to some of the students or young students who are at the campus.
Yes.
Because you know it's a very, very challenging thing. You're born again in high school. You have been active in the Christian Union. Then all of a sudden you find yourself in the campus.
Yes.
And nobody is bothering about you.
Yes.
And there are these days, I don't know about then, but these days I hear there are so many, what do I call them? I normally call them mangauros.
Yes.
Who are looking at the girls at the university, and even the girls looking for sponsors.
Yes.
That becomes quite a challenge, especially to our young students. What word would you give to them that they can hold on?
I think one of the things that our young people, I would really speak to them, is to have self-identity. In the midst of all the people, self-identity.
Yeah.
Because I keep on saying, even when you get dissolved with the others, at the end of the day, you'll always find that you're alone. If you look back to your life, you can see in life, whether in primary, high school, there is always a moment where there will be a gate where you have to exit alone, and everybody diffuses to the multitude. And that is the time now you start realizing, I may have really wasted my life. So it's very good to have that self-identity, which you don't want it to be lost amidst the other thing. And the other thing that is it's very important is also to know that sometimes when we don't live a life of purpose, and you don't have a purpose in life, you know, you become nothing. You become nothing. Anybody can tell you, let us do this, and you agree. Let us go here, and you are going there. At times, you have to know, when I wake up in the morning, when I'm here in this university, what did I want to be? And what did I want to become in life? Very, very much important. And thirdly, the one I've just said is to look at the destiny. At the end of all these things, who will I want to be at one time? And sometimes we go higher, not only for myself, because at one time you'll be in the family life. You'll be a father. You'll be a husband or a wife of somebody. I normally say, as a young person, can you be able to be faithful, maybe even as a young man, to a wife you don't know, or to be faithful to a husband you don't know, to be faithful to sons and daughters you don't know. But sometimes we waste our life here only to present to them in the days to come something that they cannot even know what kind of a man or kind of a woman that it was.
So the realization of who you are and where you want to go is very, very crucial.
It's very, very important.
And the earlier you deal with that, the earlier you realize who you are and you know where you want to go, the better.
The better.
That would also become your motivation in life when you go through the campus and the trials and the temptations. In other words, what I'm hearing you saying, there is no life without trials. There is no life without temptations. They will always be there. But you have got to know where you are going to. You have got to know who you are. And you have got to be faithful to your future. And faithful to God. You be faithful to God and faithful to your future. Okay, now you have finished the campus. You are done. You have gotten your papers. What happened?
I was taken to a station called Sigol in Cheparungu. And I'm there, and I'm the first veterinary doctor in Cheparungu. Ever.
Yeah.
And with the kind of mind also that we had, you land in Cheparungu, and then there are all these problems. Because you land not in the kind of posh kind of environment that you thought about. And I looked at veterinary, and I just did not like it. Because I landed up in the bush. There was no house.
Oh.
My house was just one room next to a bar. So when I opened the door, it's a bar that I'm facing. And there are people drunk every time. And the room that I got from my assistant who had found the room for me, it was all soot because they used to use firewood, charcoal to cook. So it's a very dark room that my assistant had tried to do the best. So I'm there in that room and I'm saying, I'm quitting this job.
Yeah.
So the whole night, I refused to put up my bed and I put the mattress on the floor. Because I did not want to pack tomorrow, the following morning. So when I'm on that floor, is when the Lord again speaks to me.
Okay.
And he reminded me the songs we sang again in the Christian Union. And the song heavily comes to me. Mirimani namabodeni, mirimani namabodeni, milimani namabondeni, nitafanya kazi ya Bwana. And I think at night I will also sing alone. Hallelujah, nitafanya. So I'm there, and that calling that I'm here, not even for veterinary alone. I'm here to witness. And which minima did I say that I'm going to endure? Which varies?
Of Cheparungu.
Yeah. So I'm there, and the farmers come. And I'll tell them I'm Dr. Mbatia. And immediately the first farmers, I started evangelizing to them. Yeah. And I love the Lord. Every person, and I love the Lord. But they were also very excited that they had gotten a veterinary doctor. Now they will not have to go very far. That is the moment that now I started now reaching out. Still I'm there when I'm there. I remember the first few Sundays, the only church that was there was AGC in Sigol. And I used to attend the Sigol High School Christian Union in their service. I became the speaker every day. Every Sunday. Now that they don't have people to speak to them. Remember one afternoon when I retreated to my small house, this student who came, I still remember him. Now he's a pastor. He knocked my door. He was called Onesmus Sabon. And he told me God has sent him to me to organize for a mission in Sigol. And to hear that God has sent him to me, really, I used to embrace that. Whenever I hear God has sent somebody to me. So I said yes. So shortly after that is when I thought I accepted. I did not refuse something that the Lord has said.
Yeah.
And I thought, what am I going to do? And I organized a mission. It was going to be, I called two of my friends. Some of them that you know, the late Steve Ngede and another guy called Marima. So they came briefly. And when they came, they said, I think this thing we can sell to the Christian Union. And we can come here as the Christian Union for a mission. So we organized. That was 1988 August. Sure enough, the history of the annual missions of the Christian unions does not go beyond August 1988. That was the first. It gave birth to the university missions. So when the Kabete campus came, it came and spread to the main campus.
So this time when the late Steve is coming to you, he's in Kabete?
He's in Kabete. Himself was doing his 4th year. And another friend called Mwandime was doing his master's.
Okay.
So they sold the idea to the Christian Union. So the Christian Union come for the mission in August. And I can tell you, God is so faithful.
Wow.
The Christian Union, that mission went all over Cheparungu, Sotik, and then we would go from one station to another. About 1,500 people got saved.
Wow.
In that mission. So when they were leaving, they were asking me, what are you going to do about all these people that have gotten saved? I said, I cannot tell you that I'm going to do anything. The Lord who has saved them will know how to follow them up. And there was a lot of favor that the Lord gave to us in that mission. I would go to the school where we stayed, the movement from one end to another, because in Sigol, Cheparungu, there are these market days.
Yeah.
And after they left, I am here, left, and had this lot of 1988, December, 89, 88 I married, 89, Alice would come a little bit about. So I'm driving this Land Rover all over, every Sunday from one church to another. That time there was only AGC and there was Full Gospel. Those were the only churches that were there. All of a sudden, churches really mushroomed. So I would go to this church, the ones that were coming, and people would be told, those people got saved in that mission that Dr. Mbatia organized, and the whole church would start.
Wow.
And that became a very encouraging for the years I stayed in Bomet. Later it became the district from Kericho. It was hived from Kericho. And the churches came, and it was such a joy to see many of them growing. Up to today, I really feel good to have gone there.
Wow.
So that is when the mission started. And 1992, there was these tribal crashes that keep on coming to Kenya. But I want to say Kenyans are good friends with one another. I will stand and say that many times. What spoils this country are the leaders.
Our leaders.
Our leaders spoil this nation. A Kenyan and a Kenyan are very good. As I stayed in that place of Bomet, Chaparungu, the people were very good friends. I would, because there were no tarmac roads, my vehicle, later I got a government vehicle, it got stuck, and you find people towing it, put some ropes and they tow it. At night I'll go for fellowships. And the people here said, hey, Dr. Tari, how are you? And there was no problem until 1992. And Bishop, I want to tell you, it was hard. 1992.
Wow.
Because now I was there. And wow, don't know whether I can go to that.
This is open talk.
And I'm there in 1992. I'm coming from Kericho for a meeting. At that time, Alice was there, and we have gotten a young boy. Our boy, our young boy, the firstborn, was young. So it's at night, and I want to pass through the school center. But somehow in my heart, I say, no. Let me go straight home. So I was telling the driver, drop me here at the center. I can walk home. It's an evening. Just to have an evening walk. But something come to me and say, no. Take me home. So when he dropped me at home to go and park the vehicle, I'm getting into my house. And I get Alice with the CID and the DO of the place and the chief of the place. And they are coming downstairs with her. I used to stay in the government quarters at the hospital. And I asked them, are we under arrest? And they say, somehow.
Wow.
So I keep my bag in the house. So I joined them with Alice. Get into the Land Rover and to the DO's office. Of course, there is the Latin lamp there. And we are all there, the CID, the chief, and some people who are there. So we sit there and tell me, Dr. Mbatia, sorry for what has happened. We have called you because of some things that have happened. So I asked what? They say that you have recruited people to the DP party. And that's the time when you say that you are in this party.
Kanu mama
yangu. Oh yes, that is treason, those days. So I said, recruited people, I have not done that. I have not done that, but I was quickened. I said, the only thing that I know, my wife is a student at the University of Nairobi. She was doing her master's. And she came to do her master's there. And God was still with us because she was given some money by the university as token to the ladies, because she was doing a subject with the ladies. And that is the time now that I remembered, maybe that's what they are really saying. But I said, she's here. She can speak for herself. She said, yes. I'm a student from Nairobi University. And yes, I went out doing my research. And about that time, she had asked me whether she can give them the money. Then they said, no. Because they are ladies, buy some sugar and some tea leaves and give to them as that. But then they had to sign. Sign, write your name, sign, because it's money from the university, and get the ID number. But where many ladies there that time did not have the ID number. So anybody can sign for them. That's what we did. So other people signed for them because of the lack of ID numbers. So then they said, okay, do you have those lists? She said she has. So she was told tomorrow, you bring that list. Okay. Number 2, is you Dr. Mbatia. On a certain day, you went to a place called Cabason. And you were buying people beer in a bar. And you are telling them to drink this one. Belongs to DP. I laughed, that guy, I really laughed. But because they really knew me also. I laughed and I said, wow. Said, it's an accusation. Said, okay, but district commissioner. All that I know is that me, I'm a preacher. I have never entered into any bar here. And said that I have never entered into a bar. So I don't know. So he looked at the chief there. The chief is the one who with the report. He said, the DC said, Bwana Chief ulisema Dr. Mbatia alinunia watu pombe ya DP. Kasema yes. They are answering in affirmative. So he says, were you together with him? Then he said no. I was told by, there was another chairman there, over maybe back at home. He said, I was told by him. Is that true? Then he said yes. You know, the affirmative was the most scary. Then he's asked also, were you there with him? He said no. So he said, okay, Mama, to bring your papers tomorrow, and you, chief, you bring that driver. Yeah, it was a serious matter. That evening, people from all over Cheparungu were all in the center. Look, wanting to come to us, to attack us. Because I have registered people to the DP party.
Law.
And Bishop Zandais is very scaring because now you are there, very far, and you're almost feeling alone. Of course, the DC tried to ask the security people to take care, so they were given charge of our house. But I remember only one who was very faithful, who had come from Northeastern. So he came, after he sat at the door, he said, the others are saying they don't care. But I'm going to be here at your door. If we die, I'm going to die here. And that guy came and will come and be around us. So after that, we are there again, and the people are not satisfied. So the following day, they came in a big number. So the whole town was full of people. There was nothing that now they...
Looking for you.
Looking for me, but wanting to come. So they were called to a meeting in the field. So they said they want to see me for that case. So the deal solved that Dr. Mbatia cannot come here. It's very dangerous. But they shouted, they cannot... The meeting cannot go on when I'm not there. So the deal did not know what to do, so he sent the chief, the Askaris. So I was brought escorted with my wife. By that time, because that was not the following day, a few days after, they had taken these papers, Mama's papers. It was serious. And they had come up to Nairobi to investigate about that. So it was really confirmed that Alice was a student and had a permit from the office of the president for the research. So that was already confirmed that. And then my case was, when that doctor, that driver was told to come, he said that this case, it's not Dr. Mbatia. I did not say Dr. Mbatia. I said another doctor who used to be in another center area. So actually my station was relocated to Sigol. It used to be in another place area. So that doctor had come to that place and had drunk with people and talked about that. So it was not this Dr. Mbatia. Okay, himself was called almost like my name, but it was not me. So actually in my case, there was nothing like that. And now the case of Mama. But even with all those explanations, people still said they are not being told the truth. So we went now in this other day, and I'm escorted with Mama to the meeting, and people have sat, and they had come were armed. Some others are holding stones, and it is very hard to control. Yeah. So now the only person, they are talking college, me and we don't get it. So we go to the meeting, and we are made to sit. Good enough, we were given the high table next to the leaders. So the chief was speaking, And then all of a sudden, the DC said, okay, let the meeting start. Within those days, people had come from Nakuru provincial headquarters because I had a small vehicle. They had said it is banned, and there was a lot of movement. So we are there with Alice, and the DO says, okay, mkutano uanze. Chief, akaulizwa, Chief, mkutano uanze. Nani ataomba? Good enough. God is so faithful. So the chief said, hapa yule mtu ameokoka ni Dr. Mbatia. The accused. So I stood and I offered the prayers. Just prayed, nice prayer. I sat down. So the DO started explaining. He explained. The CID man also stood explain. They were not getting it. So all of a sudden, the one of the councillors or the politicians stood, and I feared, and everybody feared. Now I had my staff, the veterinary staff, and a few friends from that other end. So they sat on one side. So the only indicators that now I could look at their faces. The way. So the DO said, no, you cannot talk encouraging. You talk in Kiswahili. So all of us can hear, even Dr. Mbare can hear. He said, no, I'm going to speak encouraging. I said, we are all quiet. And then he talked. I look at my people. Their faces were brighter. And then the guy started abusing him. That he doesn't know what he's saying. Yeah, sit down. And then he said he's not going to sit down. Then he spoke in Kiswahili. I said, I'm saying like this, Banadio. Dr. Mbatia came here as a young boy. And when he came, he presented himself to me. We went to his wedding. That girl I know. And I also know that she's doing a research here. And this is our child that we have made him grow in our midst. Hii mkutano imeisha. Who is going to pray? Again, Bishop, my friend. But nevertheless, in 1992, I had to leave the place. Because every time I was told to remove my people from there, so I removed Aris. I did not know where I'm going to take them. So I had a small Kazuzuki, very small, with an engine capacity of 800 cc. So we loaded it. I was just moving them. I did not know where to go. So I thought I cannot go to Majmazuri because to go through Kericho with that kind of fracas. So I thought maybe Narok, border is near. So we hit the road to Narok. It was not tarmac. It was on the way. I thought, where are we going? We landed ourselves in Thika.
In Thika?
In Thika, to my best man. So we went, I kept Alice to my best man, stayed there for a little bit, for about 1 or 2 months. Of course, this time now I'm going back to Kericho because I would go back to Kericho when, again, we found ourselves now staying in.
I think your story is very interesting.
Yes.
And we cannot finish.
We cannot finish.
We cannot finish it now. Yes. I think what we will do, we will fix another day so we can pick from there. Yes. And you have landed in Thika, in your best man's house, with your family, and you have got to leave them there. I have to leave them there because we also want to move and see. We have now seen where the mission that you organized was birthed. Yes. So we will get into that. But for now. I think we will hold it for there, and then you're going to organize so you can finish the story. Yes. I trust that our viewers, you have picked something from the story of Dr. Mbatia. Bishop Mbatia is a man of missions and visions, and you can hear where that has been birthed. And I pray that he has been of help, that you have been able to capture something, and from this open talk, you will be able to see that we have come from very, very, very far, and the Lord has been gracious. For tonight, I want to say thank you so much for joining us in Open Talk, and thank you so much, Dr. Mbatia, for coming to be with us, and for just being open, I trust that we are going to have another time so when we can finish the story. It's guaranteed. We'll have some, by God's grace.
I'll come, Bishop.
That we will have another time when you can finish up the story. Thank you so much for tonight. May the Lord richly bless you. Have a good night and enjoy yourself. This is Bishop Mark Karaoke coming to you on Open Talk. God bless you.